What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinefellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing a new Netflix film that just hit this past week. The newest film from J.C. Chandor, Triple Frontier. So this movie, just coming off the trailers of this, it's definitely a A-list cast, testosterone, masculinity. So in Triple Frontier, we have the cast of Oscar Isaac. Don't like that guy too much. Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett, Hedlund, and Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones. You killed her, my sister, you killed her. The Viper versus the Mountain, one of the greatest episodes ever made. He was in Narcos. This is a really great cast, a lot of great shows. I love Charlie Hunnam, obviously from Sons of Anarchy as Jax. Ben Affleck's not going to talk about Batman, but he's been in some good movies. He's directed a lot of good movies. And Oscar Isaac's been in a lot of movies as well, so this is a really great cast. They're ex-soldiers. Oscar Isaac basically tries to get the group back together for this huge heist, a very illegal heist. Essentially, a drug lord in the cartel down in South America has like $75 million. And this setup is to go in and rob this drug lord of all his money and take it and live a good, fulfilling life. They say Ben Affleck was shot like 5 times and he can barely afford to pay for his kid to go to college, which is a really good joke with all the controversy going on with Lori Loughlin and the college students out west and paying to get them into colleges. They put in their time as soldiers, going to war, being shot, things like that, struggling to make ends meet. It shows a lot about these characters early on in the film and how they're struggling, after their previous lives, being in the armed forces and working together and being soldiers. The first act of the movie had a lot of build-up, really had a great story and really good performances early on, and seeing how these guys all get together. Ben Affleck kind of being on the fence about this big heist. He's a father, he's a real estate agent, but eventually they convince him and they go to South America to do this big job, and as you can imagine, things don't turn out as planned. So these characters showing up and putting together this plan, how they're going to pull off this huge heist. At a drug lord's house with $75 million. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be security guards, cameras. So they got to come up, with the ultimate plan, which is pretty cool how they go about this, how they go into the house. And it really shows early signs of greed, how they come across all this money. And they stop thinking clearly, and they're just thinking about money and not really paying attention to their surroundings, because they're 5, Americans in South America, and it's the jungle surrounding them. So there's a lot of tension built really in this sequence when they make it to the house, and really white-knuckled and not knowing what's going to happen next. So that being said, there was some really good setup with the writing, the script of this movie. The first 2 acts of the film were really well written. I thought the characters did a good job. And once they go through this big heist, they kind of put the brakes on in the story, and some parts of the movie in the middle just kind of lost me, and it just lost all that momentum. And didn't really know which way they wanted to go with this and what they wanted to do with these characters. And I thought it was really frustrating, after this big heist and then what happens next. It kind of set me back a few steps instead of going forward. And that was one of the downfalls of the movie. It was really cool how they ended the film and how they could set it up for another film possibly, and setting it up for one of the main characters to move on and maybe live a happy life. I think it really did pay off, and you see what happens to these characters and seeing what they went through for a better life, with greed getting into their heads and then not making the best decisions when they come across other people. And I really wish they would have dived into these characters just a little more. We kind of give a brief synopsis, a brief background of these people. But not all the actors really shine in this movie. A few are kind of put to the sidelines. Charlie Hunnam and Garrett Hedlund, I thought, were kind of sidelined a bit. But Oscar Isaac really is the main focal point in this movie. And that was really surprising. I thought Ben Affleck would have been the main performance, the main actor of this film, but he's kind of the secondary to Oscar Isaac. And this was a really good performance for Oscar Isaac. I thought he really did lead this film nicely. Did a really excellent job of guiding these guys and kind of coming up with this plan of this heist. Ben Affleck may have been a little underutilized. He's kind of more of the older guy now, the older actor, which is funny to watch, seeing how that's changed over the years. But he did do a pretty good job, and I thought he worked well with these actors. Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund, and Pedro Pascal were also really great, had a nice chemistry and dynamic with this team. Watching the trailer, I thought this was going to be like straight 80s, 90s, testosterone-driven film like Predator. Not saying it with an alien, but just like that feel of the movie, just like muscles and just like shooting guns. And it's not really like that. There is some action in it, and there's some really high-stakes scenes in this movie. But besides that, there's just a lot of drama, and there's a lot of dialogue, and it gets pretty slow at times when they're making their way from point A to point B. I'm going to give Triple Frontier, now streaming on Netflix, a 3 out of 5 hair pieces. So if you guys did check out Triple Frontier on Netflix, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out with these big bulging biceps, these good looking guys here. Oh, Ben, Charlie. Until the next video review. Cheers!